I think also we should not make the mistake in general in the travel world okay, we have somewhere here a concept which is working well and copy paste it for another region. We really have to see certain elements could work very well, of course, you always can see, but you have to look into it for, okay, what impact does this have really on the local environment? And we should make choices for the positive impact. And that means really to be aware of all the stakeholders for every single project.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Discover WellBeing podcast. I'm your host, Allison Adams, a holistic health and leadership coach and consultant, helping you thrive in every area of your life. On today's guest episode, we're going to talk about the future of wellness hospitality and 60-plus co-living. I'll be joined by Judith Volker, and she is a real estate alchemist with over 20 years of experience in luxury, authentic hospitality, tourist destination development, and construction projects for private owners and investors. She is the founder with heart and soul of Magical Places. With a rich background in marketing, hotel management, and leadership in 8 European countries, she brings unparalleled expertise and passion to every project. Judith's holistic approach ensures that each development is not only a success, but a harmonious masterpiece. I can't wait for you to meet my guest, Judith Volker. Judith, welcome to the Discover WellBeing podcast. It's so wonderful to have you.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you for having me in your wonderful show.
I'm excited to talk about something that I've not yet explored with a guest, wellness hospitality, and looking at 60-plus co-living. But before that, would you be kind enough to share what well-being means to you?
Thank you for asking, because I'm really about also questioning that and talking and exchanging with people about what is well-being. And what I think being starts with yourself, with your being feeling well. And so this is a process which starts within you about how you feel, comfortable, safe, etc. And we have, of course, many possibilities to support that being for human beings in the way of coaching, treatments, retreats, nice environments, and many ways that people, which makes it for people easier to feel well-being.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I appreciate that you brought in all of the facets that we have available, such as coaching. There are so many emerging products and treatments and everyday things that we can do to enhance our well-being, but it's not an isolated experience. It starts with self, but then it expands to others and our environment. So I really appreciate you sharing. Would you be kind enough also share a little background to let the listeners know the work that you've done, where you live in the world, anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, my journey is, I find myself very exciting in the sense that I was always following my heart and feeling, okay, this is the place or this is the work, where I have to be now. And that started in marketing communications, what I have studied, and had my first job at Cirque du Soleil and was on tour in Europe with them. And that is a very amazing experience, being with people from around the world, with the artists and the crew. And being in this community of a touring bunch of people. Then I was in the internet world, which came up in the 90s, and I found that so exciting, these new technologies and what is possible there, and worked for AOL, America Online at that time, as project manager for huge content projects. From there, I started with my then partner a bed and breakfast in Italy, in a small little picturesque village. And we created worlds for our guests, just to enjoy the best possible, the beautiful things Italy has to offer. Is it about food? Is it about cooking and workshops? Everything, a little piazza and seeing the old people there. And it's just this dolce vita. And from there, I started with him a hotel project, which is a small boutique hotel with 7 suites in the mountains of Austria. And we did the whole concept and the development, let's say the construction, which brought me then also that I, after, was leading some development and construction projects for properties. So it's a broad range, and everything I'm doing with complete passion. And that is also my road to my journey to being what I call myself now, the real estate alchemist, as I see places, properties, as also as a kind of ecosystem beings, which you can see as something, where many components are important to get there, to create a place where people can really be happy and delighted. Depends on all in which environment is such a property, what are cultural important facts which you can integrate, what is nature bringing you there, what materials are there, what will be the function of such a property, and especially also how can you operate it in a way that this is really sustainable in all ways. So is it social, environmental, economic? And that is very interesting, I find, and that is also a step forward in bringing this well-being really into properties.
Wow. Then again, very holistic. And for those that are not viewing the podcast on YouTube and you're listening, Judith has a beautiful painting that's very vibrant behind her. And as I listened to your share just now, this is what I take as your experience. It's that you're expanding the possibility of the canvas in a really vibrant way, a way that's very alive for people and for business. And nothing wrong with traditional anything, but people are naturally seeking change and these new experiences that allow them to feel alive. And when a hotel or a resort can match where people are at energetically, this need for evolution is what I hear you describing, that you do very well. And that's the alchemy part, right? How do we take these traditional experiences and ways of doing business and how do we transform them? And that's the beauty of alchemy, right?
Yeah, and an important thing is first listening, what is there, what should be there also, and questioning things, and trust yourself for asking the questions and break things open, because we have, as you said, we have beautiful things from the older traditions and culture, and certain things which were serving us also to give us a certain security and a feeling of belonging, which is important for culture. Only it is always the importance to ask the question, is it still relevant for now? Is it still serving the purpose we had at that time? So how are the needs now? What do we like to leave behind also for the next generations. And that is not always the old things from then. Then were different times, then were different needs. Now we are in a new era of, for more sustainable and more complicated world. So we need to see what is the best now. And I think that is thing which should be more, have more awareness for in all projects we are developing, and especially also in the hospitality, that we are as hotel a place where people in a different environment at that moment. So everything is new. So you have also the chance to have a personal growth, to have a transformation there. We should take that role in the hospitality and see, okay, what can we offer our guests that they can take home and learn or experience something which they had not before.
Yes. And so I think going to the DNA of a project, whether it's a new build or whether it's a remodel, that they hold true to the roots. But there is this focus of how do we keep what is essential energetically to the wisdom of the land and of the food, and then how do we create these experiences inside of a room or the programming and meet the traveler. And this is the beauty of transformational travel. And I do want to share that Judith became near and dear to me as we went through the Transformational Travel Council design program for leading retreats and other ways of doing business. And so I got to know Judith and her heart and her vision for magical places, which I'm going to ask you to share in just a moment. But for us to be able to come together now and have these different players, meaning outside consultancy and outside ways of looking at reimagining their hotel. Would you say that's true?
Yes, it's really zooming out and look at all the elements you're having, all the ingredients, like an alchemist, with where you can work with to make this extra. And this is also where you can bring the magic that you are looking into. Okay, what do we have here? What is the place about? What history? What can it give to us? How can it serve us? And how can we involve staff here which can really, so to say, transit this feeling, this link to these roots of the place. And also then, of course, the guest, what are you able to give them about this place, about this DNA that they can take home with them? And I think that's also very correct what you said about being tourist or being traveler. The travelers are about to really learn something, to experience new, to being open more or less for a transformation. And for tourists, I see is more ticking the box. Okay, I've been here, I've been here, I've been here, I've seen it. And that's not really getting into the culture, getting into the environment where you are. And open yourself for it. To get a different perspective or other cultures, learn about them. And that is so the beauty. And in hospitality, we have so much possibilities to play also with that. That's what I unfortunately see. Most hotels are getting a bit the same in how they look, how they are operated, how the staff is serving. And I'm really trying to support that, to give the hotels a philosophy and to offer that being and a narrative for their guests, but also for their staff.
Yes, essential. It's a holistic approach and opportunity.
Yes.
Judith, when you said that many hotels are feeling the same and doing the same, Is it really the boutique hotels that have the greatest opportunities and or resorts that have the greatest opportunity to make these experiences even more special?
Yeah, I hope we can keep on using boutique hotels as a kind of category of a more inspirational and philosophy driven hotels for nice guest experiences. And your second question was about.
Would you share some examples or ideas of what you've either worked on before and after Real Estate Alchemist project?
What I saw when I was in Italy and we started this bed and breakfast, which was a very small thing in the sense of number of rooms, and we had a little osteria, so also the food, and we did experiences in sense of organizing these cooking workshops, excursions, integrating the olive mill, harvesting olives, wine, cheese, everything you find there. And what I'm looking back now is what I did there automatically was involving everything what was the region giving me and bring that together, connecting the dots for this experience. That was in me, and then I was very fascinated, but unfortunately it never happened. You have a kind of organization also in Italy, it's called Albergo Diffuso, and that is a hospitality form for older little abandoned villages to use the village and to regenerate them by making a hotel with a central reception, and then you have the rooms very, how do you say that, spread in the village, which is a beautiful concept. And I made one once also for doing one of the little villages nearby. Unfortunately, I was myself not convinced enough that could work. And so I never trusted myself to do that. But it was the inspiration I had for a concept that were Magical Places was founded on. It's a concept for using hospitality as a way to regenerate certain regions or these kind of small villages. And what in many southern European countries, you have that these small villages are deserted, only old people are left because the young people are going to the cities or different areas where they can find work. And but these villages are beautiful, and yeah, so if you have the hospitality there, it is such a power to regenerate that area. So you're bringing staff there and they can maybe live in the village. You can have there some art projects. You can have some social programs also for the elderly people. And at the same time, what you're doing for these elderly people is that you can keep up also certain infrastructure, because otherwise it's getting difficult for having a small supermarket or a mini market, a bar, and maybe a doctor. So by the presence of hospitality, you really support, you can support that. And that's what I find the beauty. It's on one side, guests are really getting this feeling, okay, I'm in this culture, I'm meeting local people, they can tell you things and share things with you about the region, about their wisdom. And on the other hand, you're keeping alive these, traditional cultural parts of a country. Another project which was inspiring me also, that's an Relais Chateau hotel in the Sacred Valley in Peru, near the Machu Picchu. It's called Sole Luna. And Sole Luna did already from the start that they were supporting or created a school for the local people. And because there was not a good option also for the girls, it was more difficult to have education there. So what they did was having the what was later then a Relais Chateau, which is of course a very luxury hotel, and at the same time having the support for the locals in the sense of providing certain infrastructure. And that are for me beautiful examples of how we can work as hotel and creating a healthy environment and ecosystem that has benefits for all the stakeholders.
Judith, I love those examples. And I go back to when we were studying the course material and getting certified in the Transformational Travel Council, that we had an opportunity to look at how many stakeholders are actually at play, not only when you're designing, but the whole ecosystem of travel and hospitality, and how many people are involved, and that it is not just looking at the tourist, or in this case, the conscious traveler, but it is looking at the people and the opportunity to build whatever it is we're going to build, but have it be holistic in terms of social and planetary impact.
Yes, and I think also we should not make the mistake in general in the travel world for, okay, we have somewhere here a concept which is working well and copy paste it for another region. We really have to see certain elements could work very well, of course, you always can see, but you have to look into it for, okay, what impact does this have really on the local environment? And we should make choices for the positive impact. And that means really to be aware of all the stakeholders for every single project.
Judith, what was your takeaway from being certified? How did you apply what you learned? How is it informing your work today?
It's deepened my awareness in the sense of, because it was there already, but somehow, yeah, people are not talking about it so much and you're not exchanging about it so much, so you're not sure if it's really so important. And by doing this course, it was another awakening call for, okay, this is so important, and having this exchange with all of you and having this homeworks to do, you see the relevance of it. And and more than ever we need to change, and it's not tomorrow, next week, it is now. And this awareness, that's where we have also a responsibility to make that possible for other people to get this awareness too. So there we coming back in well-being, healing, wellness. These are important, infrastructures, you can say, which we have to offer, that people are able to transform.
Yes, I agree. And what I appreciated is being in a cohort that was so diverse in terms of what they did professionally and where they were in the world. The projects they were responsible for, what you just named, is that we have an opportunity to live and lead in new ways. And we're such a small percentage of people that are in this space of transformational travel and hospitality, especially layered with the emphasis of well-being. So it's really an inspiring moment for us to be able to know the change that we can evoke.
Yes.
And especially through collaboration. I think that's even more of a generous place to operate from, because you're not solely responsible. And then it gets to be like-hearted, like-minded people that are part of the development of something new. And then it has this multifaceted impact. So What did you want to
And
share?
that's also what I found out after doing the course, how we are speaking with each other and meeting many of the TTC again on a retreat show in Mexico. You immediately feel the connection because you're speaking the same language. And that is giving also power to your voice and the ideas and standing for it, because it needs courage to step out and saying, okay, we have to do this differently.
And I think the people that we work with also in hospitality, to be able to support their initiatives, whether it's a short term or long term vision, that they're relying on us to have the courage, to have the knowledge, and yet to also be in a place where it is new and we're doing this together. So it's the emergence, that presencing of where we are in this moment and how can we take the vision and bring it all together. I love that. So you've got your title, The Real Estate Alchemist, and then you have magical places. So those two go together to create what you do. Is that?
Yes, in fact, the real estate alchemist is creating magical places. And magical places can be anywhere in the world. I'm also operating for wherever it's needed in the world, because most things we are able to do online. It's of course preferably to visit the location and to feel it myself. But we know also that also, I just now realized we never seen us in person either. We feel different. I am having the idea. I know you, and I know you. I've seen you before in real life. So, we can feel and do so much online, and I don't think it must be an obstacle for getting the good results out of it.
Yes, lovely. Okay, so do you want to move into the second half of the conversation where we're looking at baby boomers or those that are 60 and older? We're living longer, we're living more healthy, and many of us are wanting new ways of living that promotes social wellness and people coming together. For the sake of supporting this demographic that are wanting alternative living situations, what are you seeing as available?
Oh, I see huge possibility, but on the other hand, I don't even have the demographics present, to be honest, as I think it's also a bit a niche market, but a niche market which can be a very major sign for a change in the real estate or in the way of living world. So living was about, when we going back generations, we were used to live in big houses with our families, etc., and everybody was a bit taken care of everything. And even you have this saying, I don't know if it's also in the US, it needs one village to raise a child. And that indicates already that we were used to be together in groups, and it was a social community where you have the village, the bigger family, the bigger houses, etc. What happened the last, I would say, 80 years is that we are getting more individual and own apartments far away from the parents and not far away from the parents-in-law, and having our own little world. And it comes so far that we not interacting with our neighbors, we are interacting online with everybody, but it's a bit like, where are my like-minded people? Are they really with me in my near presence, or is it online or far away, or 1 hour driving, 2 hours driving? So especially when you're aging and looking at for, okay, what step do I like to take now? Am I preferring having an active life and spending time with people who are the same as me, then it's nicer to closer together as spending the time alone in a big house. What my projects are focused on, because when I'm talking about it, most people starting immediately, oh, you need facilities for wheelchairs, doctors, these and that, certain elevators, etc. And that is actually where I don't like to go in this thinking. I'm like, okay, we like to have an active life, and how can I keep my quality of life based also on the pillars for what they called in the blue zones in the world. I don't know if you ever have seen this documentary about the blue zones. And you have so 4 elements, and that is which are the same in every blue zone village, or even there are towns, bigger towns. That is exercise, food, social community, and rituals. So if you based on that, you're like, okay, how can keep myself healthy in a way to respect these 4 pillars? With you need to have this community with some like-minded people, then you are not going into the fear that is something gonna happen. You're going for the joy of life, a healthy life, and that will in the end avoid that you getting some illness or whatever, or the chance is less, let's put it that way, that you will get ill, or in the need for all kind of infrastructure that you can move around. Because if you have seen these villages, most of them were really in the mountains, and people have to walk stairs all day. But we know it's keeping them fit and healthy. So that is a different approach. So I'm going from the starting point. I'm free with 60. I don't have the responsibility anymore for taking care of my children. There are adults. I can choose my life, and I like to have a high quality life and together with other people, and having fun, joy, dance, being creative, and enjoying the freedom also.
The senior living here in the United States, it's in the same space of hospitality. It's just a different business model. Instead of the hotel rooms, we're selling the rooms people are on a monthly basis investing in. And so I know that programming and all of these things are so important. But going back to where you first started, when you said many of the hotels feel the same and it's the same and the same, that's what my observation is of the senior living developments, whether it's a chain here in the United States, whether it's privately owned. But there's an opportunity to take what you are sharing and make it a little more magical, right? I think what you're offering, magic is a whole nother vibe.
It is. It
And
is. And because it is also where you have to look, and that is where I'm now also working on trying to getting people who are interested maybe to co-live with each other, or to co-live with certain other people, let's put it that way, that you search for, okay, what is the common link they are having? Because you need something what is bounding them. And that can be something creative, that can be something like about the gardens, or in the city, or in the countryside. So people are having different needs. So you need to find out what is your bonding power, and
yeah,
making clear, okay, you have certain play rules for a community. You have to be in certain way mature and conscious about what your values are, and how you see it also to live with others in one co-living project. It can still be that you have your own apartment, whatever, but you have common facilities, you have common programs, you have common responsibilities. But it can be so fun.
I remember reading a couple years back of the initiative that was countrywide for Italy, from north to south, and it was to look at these villages that you name. So I think the article that I read in the company that's behind this, getting, of course, governmental support and collaborative resources, that urban areas like Florence and Milan and all the areas that are really trendy, what happened to all the spaces in between? Meaning those countrysides and the villages that need to be and have an opportunity to be regentrified and to be able to see what is available. I know infrastructure is huge, right? Being able to get all of the technology needed. But I think too that whatever we've touched on today, there are so many exciting opportunities to be involved with and just to know about as you either travel and or choose to invest in maybe something that would be part of your future, co-living, if you will, inside of a community. But yeah, I'm really inspired for what the future holds inside of hospitality.
And the beautiful thing, I think, also that these kind of projects can be really international. So that you get this mix of people, different backgrounds, etc. But having this common interest in something, and that is what it makes also more colorful and vibrant. I still love to do something like that also in Portugal. And I know Portugal is attractive for US. Great
yes, myself included.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I look at designing life here in the United States and in Portugal. And my dream, which I do hope you'll be a part of in the future, is to have a retreat center for women. Mm-hmm. And so all of what you just described is available either for retreats and or sabbaticals that they can come, and when they're in a period of life transition, that they can come and get supported and then have the true opportunity to reimagine life for themselves and what they're wanting to create as their destiny and their impact. You and I are in this position where we do it day by day. We don't always know how it's going to look or who we're going to do it with. But I think just having the conversation and opening up possibilities for people to step into living their greatest life is my dharma, my purpose. So I see and sense this in you too.
Absolutely, yes. And I think that's also not only from the transformational travel, it's a bit the transformational living, you can say. Just to reorder your life in a way that it has a structure where we can nourish each other, flourish, and being ourselves. And that's well-being, yeah, for us, the well-being.
Yes, how beautiful. Judith, thank you for this conversation. And I'd love for you to share where people can find you in case they're interested in working with you or having a conversation with you.
Yes, great. Thank you, Alison. It was great being in your show. And people can find me under the website. It's www.magicalplaces.at. So magicalplaces.at, that's for Austria, because I'm now based in Austria, in Vienna.
And on LinkedIn too?
Yes, it's my profile name. It's my Magical Places is on LinkedIn, and then under my name, Judith Volker.
I just wish you all the best in what you're creating, and maybe having you back some months or a year from now to see all the magic that you've created with others. So thank you, Judith.
I'm looking forward to share that with you. Thank you so much.
Are you enjoying the Discover Wellbeing podcast? If so, I would love to hear about it. Leaving a review helps more people find us and really makes a difference. So share your thoughts on Apple Podcast or your favorite platform.